Ellen DeGeneres negligence lawsuit, jury trial request adds new layer to 2023 collision case. A civil lawsuit involving former talk show host Ellen DeGeneres has taken a notable procedural turn, as the woman who accused the comedian of negligence in a 2023 traffic collision has formally requested that the case be heard by a jury. The filing, submitted in mid-December, marks the latest development in a case that has been quietly moving through the California court system while DeGeneres resides overseas. Although the lawsuit has been on record since September, it has largely flown under the radar until now. The plaintiff's request for a jury trial introduces new legal considerations and could significantly shape how the case unfolds if the court approves it. At the center of the dispute is a car crash that allegedly occurred in Santa Barbara County in October 2023. The plaintiff claims DeGeneres failed to obey a stop sign, entered an intersection without yielding, and struck her vehicle in a side impact collision. DeGeneres has not publicly responded to the allegations, and no court has made any findings regarding liability. What follows is a comprehensive breakdown of the case so far, including the claims, the legal process, the implications of a jury trial request, and the complications created by DeGeneres' relocation outside the United States. The origins of the lawsuit. According to court records, the incident that gave rise to the lawsuit allegedly occurred on October 16, 2023, in Santa Barbara County, California. The plaintiff claims she was driving lawfully and approached an intersection governed by a stop sign. After coming to a complete stop and ensuring the roadway was clear, she proceeded forward. The lawsuit alleges that Ellen DeGeneres entered the same intersection without stopping and struck the plaintiff's vehicle from the side. Side impact crashes, often referred to as T-bone collisions, are widely recognized as among the more dangerous types of traffic accidents due to limited lateral protection in most vehicles. The plaintiff asserts that the impact was sudden, unexpected, and entirely avoidable had DeGeneres obeyed traffic controls. While the collision itself reportedly took place in 2023, the civil lawsuit was not filed until September of the following year. This delay is not unusual in personal injury cases, as plaintiffs often spend months undergoing medical treatment, consulting attorneys, and assessing the long-term impact of their injuries before initiating litigation. Allegations of negligence. The lawsuit is grounded in a claim of negligence, a common legal theory in personal injury cases involving traffic accidents. Under California law, a negligence claim generally requires the plaintiff to prove 4 elements. The defendant owed a duty of care. The defendant breached that duty. The breach caused harm. The plaintiff suffered damages. In this case, the plaintiff alleges that DeGeneres owed a duty of care to operate her vehicle safely and in compliance with traffic laws. The alleged breach occurred when DeGeneres purportedly failed to stop at a posted stop sign. The complaint further alleges that this failure directly caused the collision and resulted in physical injuries, financial losses, and emotional harm to the plaintiff. Court documents characterize DeGeneres' alleged actions as falling below the standard of care expected of a reasonable driver under similar circumstances. Ellen DeGeneres' life abroad. Following the conclusion of her long-running talk show and amid broader life changes, DeGeneres and DeRossi sold their California home and moved overseas. The couple settled in the Cotswolds, a rural region in England known for its villages and countryside estates. Public statements and social media posts from DeGeneres have portrayed the move as a lifestyle shift rather than a professional one. DeRossi has reportedly been focusing on equestrian pursuits, including horseback riding and caring for horses on the property. The couple later sold one UK property and moved into a larger residence that could better accommodate DeRossi's horses. While DeGeneres' relocation has no bearing on the merits of the lawsuit, it has introduced logistical challenges for the legal process, particularly regarding service and potential court appearances. What happens next procedurally? Several steps remain before the case can move toward trial. First, DeGeneres must be formally served with the lawsuit through the Hague Convention process. Once service is complete, deadlines for responses, motions, and discovery will be triggered. Second, the court must determine whether to approve the plaintiff's request for a jury trial. If granted, scheduling adjustments may follow. Third, discovery, if not already underway, will likely continue. Discovery involves the exchange of evidence, depositions of witnesses, and expert evaluations. In personal injury cases, this often includes medical records, accident reconstruction analyses, and financial documentation. Finally, the possibility of settlement remains open. Many civil cases resolve before trial, sometimes even shortly before proceedings are set to begin. Legal context: celebrity defendants and civil litigation. Cases involving high-profile defendants often attract public attention, but legally, they proceed much like any other civil lawsuit. Celebrity status does not alter the standards of proof, procedural rules, or legal obligations involved. However, public figures may face additional scrutiny, media coverage, and reputational considerations. Plaintiffs, for their part, must still meet the same evidentiary burdens regardless of the defendant's fame. Courts are typically careful to manage such cases to ensure fairness and minimize prejudice. Presumption of innocence and unresolved claims. It is important to emphasize that all allegations in this case remain unproven. Filing a lawsuit does not establish fault, and requesting a jury trial does not imply wrongdoing. No court has ruled on liability, negligence, or damages. Ellen DeGeneres has not been found responsible for the collision, and the legal process is still in its early stages. As with all civil litigation, the outcome will depend on evidence, testimony, and judicial rulings that have yet to occur. Conclusion: the negligence lawsuit involving Ellen DeGeneres has entered a new procedural phase with the plaintiff's request for a jury trial. While the case remains scheduled for a non-jury trial in 2026, the December filing underscores that the litigation is active and evolving. With mediation unsuccessful, service pending due to overseas residents, and key procedural decisions still ahead, the case is likely to continue developing over the coming months. Until then, the allegations remain claims, not conclusions, and the legal process will determine whether they are substantiated. Claimed injuries and damages. One of the most significant aspects of the lawsuit involves the damages the plaintiff claims to have suffered as a result of the crash. According to the complaint and subsequent filings, the plaintiff alleges she sustained multiple serious personal injuries. While specific diagnoses or medical records have not been made public, the language used in the filing suggests injuries that required ongoing treatment and had lasting effects. Beyond physical harm, the plaintiff also claims substantial economic losses. These include lost income, loss of business or professional opportunities, medical expenses, potential future earning limitations. The lawsuit also addresses non-economic damages, which can include pain and suffering, emotional distress, anxiety, and loss of enjoyment of life. The plaintiff claims the collision significantly altered her daily functioning and overall quality of life. In personal injury litigation, these non-economic damages often become a focal point, particularly if the case proceeds to trial, as they are inherently subjective and frequently contested. The December filing. Jury trial requested. On December 15, the plaintiff submitted a new filing requesting that the case be heard by a jury. This procedural move does not automatically guarantee a jury trial but signals the plaintiff's intent to pursue one if permitted. At present, the case is scheduled for a non-jury trial in 2026, meaning a judge would be responsible for evaluating the evidence and issuing a verdict. A jury trial, by contrast, would place those decisions in the hands of a group of jurors selected from the community. The difference between a bench trial and a jury trial can be substantial. Jury trials often involve longer proceedings, more extensive witness testimony, and greater emphasis on narrative and credibility. For plaintiffs, juries are sometimes perceived as more sympathetic to injury claims, though outcomes vary widely. The court will ultimately decide whether to grant the jury request, taking into account procedural rules, scheduling considerations, and the positions of both parties. Mediation efforts and lack of resolution. The December filing also revealed that mediation occurred earlier in the month, on December 9. Mediation is a common step in civil litigation and involves a neutral third party attempting to facilitate a settlement between opposing sides. The filing indicates that the mediation did not result in a resolution. This suggests that either the parties were unable to agree on liability, damages, or settlement terms, or that one or both sides were unwilling to settle at that stage. While mediation does not preclude future settlement discussions, the failure to resolve the case through this process often signals that litigation may continue for an extended period. service delays due to overseas residence. Another notable detail in the December filing concerns the issue of legal service. According to the court documents, Ellen DeGeneres has not yet been formally served with the lawsuit because she currently resides outside the United States. DeGeneres reportedly lives in the United Kingdom, where she relocated with her wife, actress Portia de Rossi, in the fall of 2024. Because of her overseas residence, standard domestic service procedures do not apply. Instead, the plaintiff's legal team plans to serve DeGeneres under the Hague Convention, an international treaty that governs the service of judicial documents across borders. The Hague Convention process is often slower and more complex than domestic service, sometimes taking months to complete. Until service is properly executed, certain aspects of the case may remain in procedural limbo.